I'm Goshen, a professional astrologer from the village of Nyack in New York State, and I'm passionate about in-depth astrology and getting to the heart of the matter. In this video, I want to talk about natal charts and elemental astrology. And I know many of you wonderful subscribers have asked me, why am I not doing monthly forecasts anymore and only doing the yearly ones? It has a lot to do with the fact that month by month astrology is, of course, shifting, changing all the time. But my mission is to help people to understand themselves and their natal charts. This is the reason that I have begun teaching in the last few years, and that this is where I'm placing most of my energies. And the yearly forecasts can be extremely helpful, but really, if you don't know your own tendencies and you're not interested in developing yourself and getting to know yourself on a deep level, then whatever's going on month by month, if you're listening to astrologers or you're reading astrology, it's simply not going to penetrate, because you're searching for answers outside of yourself. And for many people, there is this impression that the planets are doing things to us in a way that we are not in control. And the true purpose of astrology is that we can begin to know who we truly are on a very deep level. And in this way, we can begin to see how we are likely to react to things that are going on around us month by month. And when we know that, we can make a choice whether we are going to react or not. We are not pawns in the hands of fate. We have a destiny, and that is to try to become ourselves, truly ourselves, as reflected in our birth chart. And for most of us, we are only living on the surface of our lives, and therefore we are reaching out to other people for guidance and thinking that this astrology forecast will help us and that person has something relevant to say. While all of that may be true, the real gift and the real direction we should be moving in is to move towards understanding ourselves better. And astrology is only one way that can help you with that. Other ways are having a spiritual practice and being grounded in life, exercising daily, eating healthily, thinking positive thoughts, and learning how to understand and catch negativity. Otherwise, we are going to all be pawns in the hands of whoever is feeding us information, whether it's on YouTube, whether you have a television and you choose to watch that, or in whatever form you take your media. The modern world is becoming increasingly able to sway people in a certain direction, because now practically everyone is on their cell phone every day, and there are very subtle ways in which information is being fed to you. So now more than ever, it becomes important to know yourself, to ground yourself, and to center yourself in the middle of your chart. Know where your strengths are, know where your weaknesses are. And in that way is your hope, because you can develop something which is not going to be swayed by these planets which are constantly going in their cycles. So in order to move forward with that, if you are still interested in continuing to watch this video, I'm going to offer a few insights over my years of consulting experience on elemental challenges, elemental balances in your chart, in the hope that this may help you to understand yourself better. Air signs such as Gemini, Libra, Aquarius tend to be dominant in mental or head energy. There is a lot of thinking going on. However, Libra tends to move that energy often towards a social context. So in this way, Libra are not that prone towards heavy mental energy as are Gemini and Aquarius. And this is because Gemini are ruled by Mercury, our mindset planet, and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, which can be a heavy energy. Saturn is a very slow-moving, retentive planet. So whatever it touches and whatever it rules, it tends to bring a seriousness to that energy. Now, what I'm speaking about in this video is I'm not speaking about, for example, you have your sun in Gemini and therefore you fit into this category. You need to have these signs emphasized in some way. And it's not only one thing in your chart. And if you are listening to this and you suffer from anxiety and you suffer from heavy thoughts, or you suffer from depression, or you suffer from extreme nervous stress, which you feel running through your body, you'll know what I'm talking about. There needs to be a combination of these things emphasized in your chart. For example, you have Gemini rising, Gemini ascendant, ruled by the planet Mercury. And that Mercury is in a strong position in your chart. For example, in one of the angular houses, or it is conjunct the planet Uranus, which tends to jazz up the energy and to electrify the nervous system. Or perhaps you have Virgo rising, also ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is our mindset, and it's also this nervous energy that runs through our nerves in our body, from our brain to our hands and back up to our arms, feeding our nervous system. So possibly you have Mercury in an air sign, even though you have that Virgo ascendant. And that Mercury could be conjunct Saturn, which is going to make it very heavy. And it's going to emphasize things like depression or feeling down. So once you can start to understand your chart, and of course there are many, many variations of this. One could have Mercury in Aquarius and it could be square to Uranus. That could really put a strain on your nervous system. We can also have such placements as Mercury in a tight alignment with Pluto, which can intensify things. So we need to begin to understand our charts and to look at them with a detached eye, so that we're not looking at this piece of paper, which is a chart, and saying, these things are out there and they are affecting me like that. These planets are within you. The chart is simply a two-dimensional mirror of what is taking place within your body as within the cosmos or our solar system. So if you feel either heavy thinking, prone to heavy thoughts, or this extreme nervous energy and tension that causes anxiety when you anticipate things and you become worried about things that haven't even taken place, you really need to institute breathing techniques or yoga, something where you simply become aware that you are breathing, that you are here, that you are stretching your body and opening your lungs and getting fresh air in, that you are not constantly on your phone and taking in more and more and more information, so that your mind becomes completely wired. You need to put the lights out at night, have a candle going, something dim or a dim light in your room. Turn off your phone or the television early. Take some time to listen to calm music, and simply to institute simple practices which are lessening the stress on your nervous system rather than increasing it. For those of you that suffer from heavy thoughts or depression, excellent ideas are leaving the house, going for a walk, being in nature. Even if you just have a park and you live in a large city, sitting in the park, walking around, placing your hands on the earth. These are excellent ways to de-electrify yourself and to become in touch with other energies, with sunlight, seeing people, connecting. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor, and in no way is anything I say said to supplement advice from your doctor or to be taken, as a way to combat heavy depression. But if you simply have a little bit of a predominance in your chart which tends you towards this heavy air or mental, mercurial, Uranus energy, Saturnian heavy energy, there are simple ways to bring yourself more into balance and to lead a more fulfilling life. Let's talk a little bit about fire imbalances now. Strong fire energies. Sun is in a prominent place in your chart, or there's a lot of Mars energy in your chart which is contacting your moon, contacting your sun, contacting your Mercury, contacting your ascendant in a very close, tight angle. And I'm not talking about trines or sextiles here. I'm talking about conjunctions, squares, oppositions, angles which increase energy and tension in your chart. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, very fiery. Fire is inspirational, but it is also very quick to react to things. So you may find yourself spilling out reactivity all the time. People are saying things, you're responding. Let's say you have your moon in Sagittarius and it's close to Mars, or you have any other fiery placements, but there is a quick reaction. How do you cope with that? And how do you also cope with the fiery energy that is driving you onward to act on the world, to do things, to keep going no matter what, so that you are so driven and such a high achiever that there is never a moment to be still and to do nothing and to rest. You can tend towards inflammation. You can tend towards burning out your system, possibly heart attacks if there's can be a strong Leo energy combined often with Aquarius. Whatever the case is, you have a certain type of a personality and it needs to be slowed down and balanced, while at the same time you are allowing yourself to feel as if you've achieved something. So for you, slow down. Yoga is also very good. Breathing is also very good. Just become aware that you're breathing, that you hear. And also become aware that that quick reaction is not really serving you, because it's creating an effect in your life where you are increasing friction. And this doesn't even have to be within close relationships. For example, someone says something to you, you react very quickly, and then all of a sudden there's a battle of wills or something's going on. It can be something very simple, like you pick up the phone to call your insurance broker. And instead of getting quick service, there is an automated machine. They don't understand you. And you find that very quickly the tension is escalating, that quick fire energy. It wants results. It wants to cut to the chase super quick. You are working at a speed that is much faster than an automated machine. This is when you need to breathe. You need to let go, and you need to stand in the center of your chart. You want to use your fire energy for good, for achieving your own goals. If you react, start to scream at the machine, or even just put the phone down, but you feel as if your blood is boiling, all right? Fire, blood, boiling. This weakens your immunity. You've gone off course. You've allowed your elemental imbalance to control you. Instead of standing in the center of your chart, knowing your tendencies and choosing not to react. If you're in a rush, put the phone down calmly and try again another time. Fire signs tend to rush about all the time, just getting to things in the nick of time. On the last minute they arrive. Understand that and make a change. Only you can do it, not the planets. Everything is within you. And it's not wrong that that fire reacts quickly. It can protect you. You're probably very good at sports. You can be very talented at things which require quick reactions, reading people. However, when it gets out of hand and it's running you, it's ruling your life, because you're always in such a rush and everyone is less able to do things than you are, it becomes detrimental. Emotional outbursts weaken the immunity. Emotional outbursts over time lead to inflammation. They raise your cortisol. So slow down, chill out, and take time to breathe and relax. Earth sign predominance. We've got Taurus, we've got Virgo and Capricorn. We've also got a lot of Saturnian energy when we're talking about Earth. Now, Earth signs tend to be retentive. They retain things. You can imagine pouring water into the earth and the earth just sucking it up and keeping it so that it can feed it to the roots of a plant. That retentive nature can be really helpful in many things, giving earth signs a reliable quality. But when it turns negative, one can hold on to things. In other words, one can hold on to frustration, one can hold on to hurt, one can hold on to emotion and to things that should just be let go of. For example, things that fire tendencies would just, strong fire signs would just release. You earth signs are really holding on to that. So we're talking about possibly Taurus rising, with your ruling planet Venus close to Saturn, so maybe conjunct Saturn or square Saturn. Your Venus might also be in an earth sign like Capricorn. We could be talking about Virgo rising. We could be talking about a Capricorn rising person with a strong Saturn. And that Saturn might be in Taurus, also in an earth sign. So you get the picture. When those three signs and those planets are dominating the chart, or even your sun could be in a totally different sign, but it's conjunct Saturn in an earth sign, or it's in a grouping of planets with Taurus, what we call a stellium. So there is a very strong earth energy in the chart. Can lead to retention, and it can lead to things like constipation in the body, slow bowels, which slow everything down and lower the immunity. It can also lead to this emotional holding on, which causes the entire body to go into a state where it doesn't feel as if it can receive the flow of life. When we are not receiving the flow of life, our bodies become blocked and emotion can sit in our bodies and create illness. So people with charts that are really dominant in earth, they need to practice letting go. You need to learn to breathe out when you are feeling anger, when you are feeling resentment, when you are feeling as if someone doesn't understand you, when you are feeling as if you've been overlooked and no one is hearing you. Do you hold on to that and make it more permanent in your cells? Or are you able to let it go and release? Water is very good for earth signs, literally taking a shower, going for a swim, taking a bath with Epsom salts. If you feel you've had a difficult situation and you wish to release it, water is harmonious with your element. It cleanses it. The other thing you want to practice doing is simply centering yourself and releasing every day. At the end of every day, if there has been anything negative in your day, release it. And earth signs, be extremely mindful if you have a dominant earth element in your chart. As I explained in the beginning of this segment, be mindful about taking other people's word over your own intuition. Earth signs tend to be receptive and they receive. For example, Capricorn is a feminine sign. It receives. Virgo is a feminine sign. It receives. And Taurus is a feminine sign. It receives. So you are receiving information and you want to be very aware of what you receive because of this tendency to retain it. Be careful of what you watch. Be careful of who you listen to. Are you allowing positive energy into your life? And are you trusting your gut, your intuition, yourself? Virgo rules the gut. Taurus rules the throat and the voice. Are you trusting your own voice and your own sound to speak your truth, not someone else's truth? Capricorn rules the knees and the bones. Are you trusting that feeling in your bones that you know something is right or you know something is wrong? Learn to listen to it. Water sign dominance. So we've got our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And the planets involved here are the Moon, Jupiter, and Neptune. So when we see an emphasis on the chart, in particular if it's linked to houses 4, 8, and 12, we want to be aware that we might have a very strong water emphasis in our chart. So for example, we may have Cancer rising with the Moon in the 8th house. Jupiter might be in a relationship with that Moon, emphasizing, enhancing, activating that Moon and activating all of that water. We could have Scorpio rising with the ruler Mars in a close relationship to Neptune. Neptune is a planet which tends to play on the fogginess and the mystery, and it can often enhance a feeling of wateriness in the chart. There can be difficulties with boundaries. Where do I end and where does another person begin? Pisces, it could be Pisces rising, Pisces sun, combined with closeness to Neptune. Jupiter could be in the mix. The Moon may be in a water sign. Mercury might be in the water sign of Cancer. and contacting either Jupiter or the moon. And of course, there are endless combinations of each of these elements and elemental balances that I'm sharing. And you will know who you are. You know if I'm talking to you. You have a dominant water element in your chart. You have difficulties with boundaries. You are extremely sensitive and you feel emotionally very strongly. Someone starts to talk about something painful or criticizes you, or you read about something tragic that happened in the world and you just begin to weep, or you feel it in your stomach. You're sensitive to atmosphere. You struggle to eat when there's disharmony around the dinner table. Your entire stomach clenches up. Or that happened to you when you were a child. Or you simply find yourself taking on and picking up other people's emotions wherever you go. You go to a mall, a large shopping center, and you're feeling all the negative vibrations there. Or you find that you're in the work environment and there's some kind of disharmony with one of your colleagues and you simply struggle to work because you have this dominant water element. You're sensitive, you lack boundaries, you're probably very creative as well. Good ways to manage this are grounding practices. Don't go into your head. Stop all the over-imagination, over-dreaminess, over-watching of movies and wishing you were somewhere else in some ideal fantasy. You need to come back down to earth. You need to strengthen your body and root yourself. Walk barefoot in your house if you're able to. Sense the floor under your feet. Again, yoga can be helpful, doing standing poses, grounding yourself, avoiding toxins in your environment. So make sure the water that you are drinking is pure. And also make sure that when you step out every day into the world, you are centered. You can surround yourself in an invisible energy where you are going to be protected from those energies you're picking up on the bus or the train or in the street. So we all have a dominant element and we all have a tendency to have a weakness in one of the elements. Often the moon is a great indicator of how we tend to react and where we most need to work in order to grow spiritually. So for example, if your moon is in an air sign, when your feelings are affected, you tend to go to the head and try to figure everything out there, and the answers are not there. If your moon is in a fire sign, you tend to react emotionally before you've had time to pause and consider what you would really like to say, speaking from your truth. If your moon is in an earth sign, you tend to retain negative emotion and you need to work on letting that go so you can flow with the life. And if your moon is in a water sign, you tend to take on everyone else's stuff and be oversensitive to things. And you need to learn to simply let that go. So I hope you found something in this video helpful. If you have, please like and subscribe. And I would love to hear your comments, how you are working with this energy. My wish is to help you. My wish is to offer videos that are meaningful in this very stressful world that we find ourselves in today. So put off the television and have a peaceful rest of your day or evening. Until next time.